Hello, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Just say, give me a yes, you can hear me. I'm just going to give a few minutes just for people to see that I'm live now. And so I'm just going to kind of sit here nice and quiet, just waiting for everybody to kind of show up. So, welcome for those of you that are already here. So nice to have you here. Okay, good. Perfect. Yeah, so nice to have you here. So I'm just gonna just take some nice deep breaths and you can just join me. So again, people that are just coming on, welcome. We have a big topic to talk about today. Hopefully it will be lots of fun for you. So just start to take some nice, deep, gentle breaths. And just allowing your body to start to relax. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Lisa Walter Flores. And welcome to my channel, Sacred Sun Healing. And tonight we're going to be talking about, or I'm going to be talking about, and then answering some questions, embracing the unknown. So again, it's kind of a big topic. I'll try to keep it simplified and just have it be full of lots of amusement. So if you're just coming on, go ahead and say hello and let me know where you're from. Just is nice to know how many people are on. And I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a heads up. So I'm going to be talking about embracing the unknown, and then we'll do a little bit of a Q&A in case people have questions. And then after that, I'm going to kind of take everybody through a guided process and meditation just to assist you so that you can actually have an experience and start to ride the waves of this amazing change and shift that we are all experiencing. All right, so let me just check in the chat here. All right, so I have Erin. Hi, Erin, how are you? And I've got Melissa. Hi, Melissa. Haven't seen you for a long time. Nice to have you here. Julianne, it's nice to have you. Good. All right. So let's just go ahead and get started. So first of all, I always like to just get everybody kind of here and just a little bit more grounded. You know, usually we're just doing a lot through our day. So when we sit down, we just still have a lot going on in our heads. And so just go ahead and close your eyes And just give yourself a nice deep breath. And just go ahead and make a connection at the base of your spine. We're going to make an energy connection called a grounding cord and just take that all the way down to the center of the earth. And just make sure that it's connected at the tip of the tailbone and that first energy center that we call the first chakra. And then all the way down to the center of the earth. And we want to make this grounding cord, we want to make it nice and wide. So wider than the hip width of your hips. There we go. And you can really make this out of anything. A nice giant redwood tree is very grounding. I like to use trees. Giant crystal, waterfall, granite column. So whatever feels good for you today. And even if you can't visualize it, just making that intention, the energy will follow you and it will just automatically start to happen. So there's no effort. And then once we have that connection, we want to make a connection here at the center of our chest. We call that the heart chakra. And we want to make an energy channel going all the way up through and out the top of our head and just connecting all the way up to the center of the universe, center of all creation. There we go. And so we could say that we're connected now to the earth and the heavens. And again, just take some nice deep breaths. And just letting go of anything that's still kind of running around in your head. Letting go of any tension, any stress in your body. And just allow your focal point to just come right into the center of your head. So you can imagine that you're just sitting in a nice, comfortable chair in the center of your head. And this is the stillest place in the body. So this is a nice place to just be sitting and just observing. This is a place where we can make good choices and discernment for ourselves. Good. And one more nice deep breath. Okay. And then just gently open your eyes when you're ready. Just really coming now into this present moment. Okay. All right. So let's just jump in, you guys. Okay. All right. So let's talk about embracing the unknown. So, this, I always like to ask from my own source and intuitive connection, like, what would be a good topic to talk about that, people might be battling or struggling with or having some difficulty. And so this was the title that came up. And the unknown is basically it's unknown territory. And right now, it's not like, we're each having our own personal, you could say, thing with that. But what's so interesting and why I really wanted to kind of talk about this today is because the whole world is in an unknown space right now. And so we're all feeling that because we're all connected. And so, with that, always with the unknown, there's always some level of fear, some level of resistance. And a part of that's just because, our bodies, we have the natural self preservation mechanism. We have that in that first chakra, we have that uh, little energy center that says, hey, I need to survive. And so, anytime that we have any kind of change coming up in our lives, that is going to come up and say, well, wait a second. What do we want to do here? Is this safe? So there's a certain level of fear that we're all going to have. And it's good because it also helps us to discern. But then there's a lot more than just a little bit of fear going on in the world. There's actually quite a bit. And if you're empathic and you're sensitive, as really we all are, it's just that some of us can feel it and we're aware of it, and others, they're not tuned into it yet. So the thing is that we're all experiencing this fear from that collective, I like to call it the unconsciousness, or that collective soup of people. And so a part of what I wanted to do today was just to assist you in being able to kind of move out of some of that fear, move it out of your own space. Because as we stay more grounded, calm, peaceful, then what happens is other people will naturally match the higher level, and they'll match us instead of us dropping down into the fear. So the idea is for us to keep holding that light, keep holding that peaceful place, that calm place, and that grounded space, so that others can start to match that vibration, that frequency, instead of the fear. So again, we have like a great unknown, not just with our own personal lives, but with the whole world being in an unknown. We don't know what's going to happen to the economy. We don't know what's going to happen with people's health. There's just a lot of different things going on. Uh, Issues with relationships. There's just a vast amount of things. And so the unknown, like we don't know how is this all going to unfold. And so in I can kind of talk a little bit about my personal experiences because I've definitely had lots of unknown stuff come up, and it can be quite challenging. It can be almost where you get to a point of where it's like, oh, you can't move. It's like the deer in the headlights. You just kind of freeze in the situation, and then you get very stuck. And so I definitely have had that. And I've definitely had lots of resistance. It just kind of depends on the situation. And so the first most important thing is just to start to be aware of, like, wow, like, am I in some fear? Am I in this mode of worrying? Especially, like, are you noticing like you in a constant worrying mode and constantly putting your energy out into the future and trying to figure it out? So that's a part of what our mind will try to do, is it'll try to create all these different scenarios, and it will try to figure itself out. It'll try to figure out, well, what if I do this? Or what if I do that? Or what if this happens? Or what if that? Then what would I do then? And so it can be a little cray cray in your head right now, if you're going kind of down that path. And I know that there are a lot of people that are, because we're used to using the analytical mind. The analytical mind is used to being in charge, it's wanting to figure it out, and that's a part of also keeping us safe. Well, I just want to say that that isn't going to work for us anymore. We're moving into, we're in the fifth dimensional consciousness. Some people are moving into it, and some of us are in it, but we are all moving into this other reality. And so using the analytical mind isn't going to work anymore. We actually have to start to use our intuition. And for those of you that might be new watching this, intuition is where you just know something, and your mind didn't figure it out. It just all of a sudden you just knew it. And that's what we call intuition, or sometimes people call that, well, I had a gut feeling about it. But that's intuition. And so a part of maneuvering in the unknown is we have to really start to slow ourselves down. So it's good because we have kind of gotten collectively slowed down because of the virus. And it makes us really kind of pay attention, tune in to what is the higher voice saying to us. And so we want to start to tune in, and that voice usually isn't very loud. So, usually more of like our ego voice, or our analyzer, the mind is usually a lot louder than what our intuition is. So, if you're just starting to tune in to your intuition, it's going to be a quiet voice. It's not going to be real loud. So, that's why we kind of have to slow ourselves down, and we have to start to just listen. So, instead of like going and looking out in the world, instead of, which is what we've been conditioned to do most of our life, we want to sit down. We want to start to learn how to focus inward. We want to take time to meditate. Even just taking time to just be with your breath, to be still, what that does is it puts us in this receptive mode. And so when we're in the receptive mode, that's when we can start to hear that inner voice, that inner guidance. Sometimes we call that the God of the heart. And so by being more still, taking time to just sit down, breathe, all of those things will help you with the intuition. It'll help you to start to maneuver. If you're not getting any kind of guidance, that just means just keep doing what you're doing. And it's not about, let's make a bunch of decisions and, things, especially right now, really shouldn't be making any huge decisions because so much is changing, so much is in flux. And for me, and probably for a lot of you, you're starting to experience this more and more, especially because things are speeding up. That, I'll kind of have an idea of what I'm going to do during my day, but it never happens now. My day is constantly being shifted and rearranged. So that idea of trying to plan stuff, some of it gets done, but what happens is what I do now is I kind of ask first thing in the morning, I ask for that higher guidance to say, okay, this is the list. These are the things I'd like to get done or that need to be done. So show me what's the priority and show me what I need to do first. Okay. And so when I do that, then it's just like all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm over here doing this now. And then I'm doing that. And it can seem really random if you're probably watching me, but so many things happen and everything gets done that needs to, that's really the priority. So it's really about learning to just kind of hand it over to the higher, we could call it the higher power, your higher guidance, the universe, source, God, creator, and asking to assist you in this time now to really guide us. It's way more efficient, it's way more effective. And then you're not using the mind so much to try to figure it all out, because a lot of times what you can do is just be spinning and spinning and spinning around, and then nothing really gets done. Okay, so just want to see. So, how's that sounding so far to you guys? Is that, are you guys experiencing some of these things? Are you experiencing some of the fear? Are you experiencing some of a lot of the mind chatter right now? And let's see, I just got to give it a minute because there's always a little bit of a lag. Okay. All right. So far, it sounds pretty good. Melissa says, yes, spot on. You're explaining it all very well. Julian says, I like the stillness. Yes. Yes, I love this stillness. So for me right now, it's great not having so much going on, even though I have a lot going on. My business is kind of my other business, my jewelry is like it's like Christmas time all of a sudden. Like tons of orders are coming in, and I'm like, oh, okay. So that's why this is so important to really, because I don't know from day to day, like what's going to happen, what I'm going to be doing, if somebody's going to need my assistance, somebody's having a meltdown, you just don't know. And we don't know how we're going to come out of all of this. So the most important thing is to just, let's see, I just wanted, people are wanting to be even better versions of themselves. Yes, of course. Yes, yes. I would say most of us are wanting to be better versions of ourselves. Absolutely. Um, so what was I saying? Okay. I'll pull it back in a minute. So again, okay, I'm just going to read a couple of these real quick. Yeah, so Aaron's just saying, yes, sometimes there's a variety happening, sometimes calm, sometimes triggered by people. The mind is blaming, pointing fingers. Yes. Yes. So, yeah. So, and that's the whole thing throughout your day. You can also be going through a ton of emotional things. Again, this is the unknown territory. And so, how do we maneuver this? Because it can almost feel like an emotional whiplash a lot of the times. Because sometimes I'll get triggered by something, but then it's just a few seconds and it's gone. And then all of a sudden, over here, I'm feeling the bliss, and then over here, I'm feeling some sadness. So I have no idea. Could be crying all of a sudden. So again, we're all connected to each other. And sometimes we're just getting triggered because it may not even be our stuff. Again, we're connected to each other, to that collective unconsciousness. So let me give you some more tips of how do we maneuver the unknown, because basically when you're on a spiritual path, and even just life in general, not even on a spiritual path, you can imagine that the path is lit up about, let's say, 15, 15, 20 feet, and I'm being generous, of light in front of you. Sometimes it's not lit up that far, in my experience, but we'll just say that there's always some light on that path, and it's always guiding you. But the thing is that they're not going to show you this whole path. If you knew how everything was going to unfold and this and that, you would probably be, freaking out, turning around and running the other direction. So again, it's like it's better to just have that faith, and we just take it one step at a time. We try not to get too far in front of ourselves. So this is kind of where that faith comes in, is that we have to have the faith that the universe is working in our favor, that all of this stuff, even if it doesn't look like it out there, everything that's happening is happening for a higher purpose, a higher reason, and it's to assist all of humanity to start to make changes, for all of us to start to come together, to live more peacefully. to help each other out. And so a new way of living is being created in this moment, even though it looks pretty scary out there. So, again, as I've kind of talked a little bit on some of my other videos, it's important not to get too caught up in watching too much on the news and different things like that, because a lot of that stuff is very fear based. So, again, if you're going to watch it, be in a good space. But if you're not in a good space, definitely don't watch it because then you'll feel even worse and drop down even lower. So, most important is just to pay attention to what's going on around you and to focus on what you need to be doing for yourself in each moment. Again, it's like I've had days where all of a sudden I've got a person in my head and I'm like, okay, I got to call them, or all of a sudden they call me and then they're having a lot of challenges. I've been, one time I was walking down the street and I saw a guy outside in my neighborhood. He's going around looking through the windows and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So I'm just like, I'm not going to freak out because, obviously it's in broad daylight. So I don't think he's trying to steal anything. But so then I say to him, I said, "Do you need some help? What's happening?" And then he said his mother was inside and she wasn't responding. And so I was there. I had my phone. I ended up calling 911, and then we got into the house, and then I just stayed there with him and just kind of held space till the paramedics got there. And so you just never know what's going to happen in your day. You never know when you need to be that anchor, you need to be that grounding for other people. And the more that we can stay grounded and calm and peaceful in our own homes, that helps our whole neighborhood, that helps the whole world, it helps the whole collective, whether you can see the results of that or not. So, first thing that I recommend is first thing when you get up in the morning, just take some time to sit down, be still, to just do some, as I took you through in the very beginning, to create a grounding cord. What that's going to do is it's going to anchor you to the earth. And it's also going to, that first chakra again is our self preservation. So if that's grounded, we're less likely to be in some fear and survival. So that's really helpful. And then just do that as much as you need to. Also, just breathing, just taking nice deep breaths. If you notice yourself getting triggered, just go, okay, wow, I just got triggered. And you don't have to figure it out necessarily, but just, okay. Just, put your hands on your heart, whatever feels comfortable for you, and just like take some nice deep breaths. Just go, okay. And what that does again is it slows you down, starts to bring you back into your body, and starts to ground you. And just the grounding itself is, I always tell my students that if there was only one tool that I could teach you, that, it would be the grounding, because it's the most important. Because if you're not grounded, you're kind of, you know, well, I'd like to call it kind of out of your body, which is what happens. The spirit kind of comes out part of the way, and that's when you get kind of foggy, you can't remember things, all of that. And so you really can't do much from that place. It'll be a lot more effort, and I just don't recommend it. So, um, okay, I just want to check again. Okay, good. All right. So, grounding, breathing, and self care. Really, really important right now. Important to just really start to take care of yourself. Do whatever you can. I know some people, you're with your whole family, so you have a lot of people, but teaching your kids even to like just take some time and do some stuff that's the self-care stuff is really important. We all should be doing that. So again, that loving, that nurturing, all of that self-care stuff really assists with riding the waves of the unknown. Okay. And what else? So let me just ask, does anybody have any questions about anything that's been coming up for them? Or any questions about, how do we embrace the unknown? Julianne says, yes, self care. I posted about that today. Excellent. Yes. It's so crucial. And for the most part, we weren't taught the self care. And also for us women, we're taught to take care of everybody else, but not ourselves. So let's turn that around and let's all start taking care of ourselves. Yeah. So, any questions around like how do we embrace this? So, the thing is that change is the only constant in the universe. Is that everything is going to continually change, and the more that we try to resist, the more that we try to control, the worse it's going to get for you. That's all I can say because things are speeding up and what it's a process that's really trying to take us through a very deep level of surrender, and we are being surrendered because we can't really surrender because when we try to surrender, we're really kind of doing it more from our ego self. So, we're in a process of being surrendered right now. And the more that we can go, okay, it's okay to not know what's going to happen. It's okay to not know um, if I'm going to have a job or not. And so, again, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of panic for people. And what can we do? We can just sit down, we can start to release that out of our space. I'm going to take you guys through a process um, to do that so that you can also just, if you need to come back to this again, you can take yourself through this process again. So, one of the things that I can say is that new things are going to come in for you. It may not be at the timing that you want it, but it is coming. The universe has our back, it is supporting us. And the more that we can stay calm, grounded, the more that the energy can flow through us, and the more that the universe can step up and do more for us. So, a part of what happens too is that when we go into fear, or stress or resistance, what happens is we start to compress our bodies. We start closing down. And the moment that you start closing down, what happens is that nice energy flow from the whole universe basically gets shut off. So you'll start to notice, your health will start to go down. You'll start to notice your abundance will start to go down as well. Because again, it's the universe, it's source that is providing everything for us. So the moment that we start to compress our bodies and close and shut down, the less we have energy flowing and the less that can come through to us. And so, also another thing that can really help ride the waves, and I'll probably even talk about this as a whole topic at some point, is to be in gratitude. If you want more abundance, you want more flow and things to be a little bit easier, start to appreciate what you already have. We have a tendency, again, it's kind of some of that conditioning, depending on how you're raised, to focus on the problem, what's not working, instead of focusing on, wow, look at all that I have. I have a home, I have a place to sleep, I have food on my table, and I'm safe right now. I have friends in my life, again, you can just sit down and just go through the list. So the gratitude is something that I do every night. A lot of times I just lay in my bed and I just go through And I'll just sit there and say it out loud, all the things that I'm so grateful for. And it really shifts your perspective and it opens your energy up and you start to flow again with the universal flow. And universe goes, oh, okay. So that's what they want. They want more flowing to them. They're not shutting themselves down where, we can't receive, but you're saying, yes, I'm open. And so again, we've been taught like, and again, it's just kind of some unconscious program that what happens is that we will shut down, we'll close down when things get difficult, when things get stressful. When actually what a master does when things get difficult and when things get stressful is the master goes, opens up and says, "Okay, I'm ready. Let's see what happens." And they're not trying to make anything happen. They're not holding on. They're not controlling. They're just like, okay, I'm going to allow this energy to flow through me. I'm open and I know and I trust that it's going to guide me and take me exactly, where I need to be. So, just as I'm kind of talking about that, can you feel that energy? Can you feel the difference of the closing down versus like the opening up? And I'm going to take you through a process. So, let me just see. I'm going to take a couple questions here. I definitely want to have some time too to take you through the process. So, okay, so there is one question. I've been struggling so much with weight gain. I stress, eat. Yes. So, well, Julianne, I don't think that you are the only one. I definitely have noticed myself doing some of that too. Again, what happens is we're feeling other people's stuff and then our own, and then it just starts to, and then we start doing things unconsciously because we're not being conscious. And so, how we manage stress, people do a lot of different things, and definitely the eating things that maybe aren't good for us, that maybe feel more comforting. And, I never say don't do anything unless it's like really bad for you or you're allergic to it, something like that. But, it's okay to just allow yourself to have things. But if it starts to get like, okay, now it's kind of getting a little out of control, then you might have to say, okay, now I need to just, I've done that a little bit. Now I'm going to shift that. Okay. And again, the more that we keep ourselves grounded and the more that we do some of these things that I have recommended, the less that you're going to go unconscious and start doing some of those things. Those are habits and those are things that we've just created in order to cope and deal with the stressful situations. That's why self-care is so important right now, because it's learning and teaching ourselves new habits and new ways of doing things in these kind of situations that are more healthy for us. So maybe it's like a good time to do some juicing. Maybe it's a good time to do a cleanse. So, you kind of always want to ask your body too to see what it's ready for. Again, it's like this symbiotic relationship you want to have with your body, and you want to ask it like, okay, body, would you like this? And if it says no, then don't give it to your body. So treat your body as you would like your pet. We treat our pets, most of us, let's say, treat our pets really well, and we're not going to give them bad food, and we're not going to let them overeat, if we're conscious. And so it's same thing goes for us. So treat your body as you would with your child or your pet, somebody that you really love and care for. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is like, let's start to look at this as wow, there's a lot of stuff going on, and what is really going to come in. And we can start to focus on, well, what do you want your life to look like? Start visualizing that. This is a time too where we're just reflecting, we're looking at our life and going, okay, what doesn't fit for me anymore? What's not serving me? What's not a match? And so this is really a time of just going inward and we're cleaning out the closets, and you can also literally start cleaning out the closets. All of that's really good stuff. And so it's not a time to like make big decisions. It's not, because it's kind of a period of like we're in this cocoon, we're getting morphed and we're getting, melted down. And then we're going to come out and we're going to be these gorgeous butterflies in this new world. But, in that cocoon and that getting that morph down, it's really uncomfortable. So remember that. So that's why we want to take care of ourselves. So, again, you can do some visualization, really start to visualize how you would like the earth to be. What do you want the planet to, what do you want your environment to be like? What kind of a job or what kind of people would you like to be around? Would you like to be doing some service for others? So, it's a really great time to just really reflect on our whole life and look at, wow, what do we want to change about it? And maybe we can't implement all of these like changes, but we can start to think about it. We can start to write it down. Journaling is it's a really good time to do some journaling. I've just been having lots of intense days of, like I said, I don't even know what's happening. One day I'm going through intense processes all day. It's just happening. I'm not consciously trying to do it. And then, I can't really function much. And then the next day it's like, okay, now I'm doing jewelry, or I'm doing sessions, or somebody calls me, they need me, or I'm sitting down doing blessing for somebody, I don't know. And I've just let go of like, okay, I'm not going to plan my day. I'm just going to allow it to unfold. So the most important thing that you can be doing right now is allowing what's happening to happen, and allow the changes, and allow that intuition to come in, and then just follow what comes through. So allowing is very difficult for us, because again, we've been taught to go do and make it happen, instead of like allow it to come into your life, allow it to shift you, allow it to guide you. It doesn't mean that you're not going to take action and you're not going to do nothing, but it's like not trying to force things, not trying to make things happen. So kind of start to play around with uh, allowing things more into your life. Just allowing new things to come in, allow new ideas, new creativity, all of that stuff. So definitely focus on that. All right, let's do a process. Does anybody have any questions? I'm just looking at the chat here. Yeah, and then Melissa says, yes, allowing, not trying to force things or make them happen. Julian says, I really feel like I don't belong here. Maybe I'm just weird. Well, then we all are. No, no, because a lot of us that are awake right now and have been awake and are more on a spiritual path, more conscious, pretty much if you asked every one of those people, they would say they feel like they don't belong here. And it's not that we don't belong here, it's just that we don't fit in with, that conditioning and how people want us to be. And no matter how hard you try, you won't ever fit in. And I'm at the point, well, it's been quite a while where I'm like, I don't want to fit in. I don't want to be a muggle. This my world is about magic and miracles and connections, things that aren't explainable. And so you really don't want to fit in. So a part of the embracing the unknown is embracing yourself, embracing all these things about you. And it's not about getting validation outside yourself. Other people They can't see those things. People are so focused on themselves and they can't see themselves. And how are they going to see you? They're not going to. And so we can't wait for others to validate us, to accept us. This is this is the one of the hardest things on this journey, is that this is about loving yourself and accepting everything about you. It's about dropping all the judgments, which are really from other people. We just learn to judge and then we judge ourselves. We're truly our own hardest critic. Really, we truly judge ourselves more than anybody else. So I would say, Julianne, let go of all the judgments. Embrace your weirdness. Totally embrace it. That's what's so amazing, is that we are each individuals. And if we were really just allowing ourselves to be ourselves, we would see all these just incredible people. But because there hasn't been that permission, but you can't wait for the permission. You have to give yourself permission. So I'm giving you permission. I'm the permission slip. Totally embrace your weirdness. Yes, this probably is not your home planet. It's definitely not mine, but I'm here for now, and this is where I'm supposed to be. We are here to shift, and we are here to change the frequency, and we're here to wake people up. We're here to be the light. We're here to share our wisdom, our knowledge, and to shift things on this planet. And it's not like we're going to go force it, but the way we do it is by us being truly ourselves and shining that out into the world and not being afraid of it. Not at all. The more that you are yourself, the more that you express and allow all that you are, the more safe and protected you are. So I hope that helps. I hope and we might do something in the process with that. Yeah. So Melissa says yes. Then we're all weird. Yes, absolutely. Erin says the same. Yeah. Let go of all the judgments. Embrace. Yeah. It's totally embrace your weirdness. We're all weird. Isn't that awesome? I wouldn't want to be normal. Again, I don't want to be a muggle. Do you? Okay. All right. Don't get me started. All right. So let's go ahead okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take us through a little bit of verbal processing, and then I might be going into a meditation. So I'm just going to kind of follow the energy. So again, I had an idea of the topic, but I didn't have a plan of what I was going to talk about. So this is what I'm talking about when we just step up and we trust the universe, we follow it. I'm following it. It's like wanting me to come do this. And of course, it's intensely scary. I feel all the energy and the excitement that starts to build up before it. I didn't sleep at all last night. I had a ton of energy coming in, constantly waking me up through the night. I don't know if you guys are seeing, but I'm seeing the 444s constantly. And then last night, every time I looked at the clock, all the numbers added up to 5, which is change. So the other thing I wanted to just say too, I know I'm talking a little quick right now. I just want to make sure that we have time for everything. And so 5 in numerology is change. And so I a lot of times see the 555, and I actually saw it today, the 555. I saw the 444. So 5 is change, and we're in the month, the 5th month. And so this is an intense month. I don't know if you guys are noticing it. Last Saturday, I think we had a huge portal open for more energy coming in. So just know a lot is coming in, and that energy is coming in to just clear and clean out all the stuff that doesn't serve us, all the stuff that doesn't resonate for us, kind of the lower stuff, traumas, fears, programming, all the stuff that needs to go. So just know if you've kind of had a crazy week and all of that, and you're not sleeping, a lot of new energies coming in. This is a month of lots of transformation and lots of change and healing that's happening. Now, also the other thing is this is what they call the WESAC, which I can't remember the exact date, but I don't know if it's this week or next week. It's towards the end of the month of May, and that's when Buddha became enlightened. And so that's always celebrated. So this is always a really special month for lots of change, transformation, and awakening. Okay, so I just wanted, yeah, dreams, crazy. Oh, yeah, I had like crazy, well, one dream because I was awake most of the rest of the time. And Julie says, yes, 555. Yeah, so the fives change. Four has to do with stability. And then when you start to see the double numbers, those are like master numbers. And one of the things I had found out is that I used to see 33s all the time. The 33 is can be about the ascended masters. It's also the Christ light, the Christ energy. But the 44, that's the master. That's when you're moving into the master and being the master. So if you're starting to see some of those, just know. And also the four has to do with security, stability, and foundation. So we're creating new foundation, new structures right now as well, or will be. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do some verbal processing. So what this is I will just start to say some stuff. Sometimes it's a little fast, but your mind may not be able to track it, and that's okay. And then I will say yes or no, or to clear something out. And all you have to do is just say yes, and it automatically gives the permission for your spirit and for that energy to release out of your space. So, first of all, just give yourself a nice deep breath. And also know if I start laughing, it's the energy coming through for you guys. So, everywhere that you have been in any kind of fear, resistance, um, let's just start with that. Anywhere that you're holding on to that in your body and your auric field and anything else that brings up in this life or any life time, life, space, dimension, would you be willing to let go of that? And so here you can just say yes, and you don't have to choose it. You don't, it's always a choice, but you can just say yes, and then just go ahead and take a nice deep breath. And I'm just going to be tuning into you guys as we do this. And anybody else that's watching it later on, you will benefit. So anytime you watch this, you will just keep clearing whatever the next layer was or whatever else needed to go that maybe you couldn't release. We can't always release everything in one moment because our bodies would collapse and die. So it's whatever you're ready to release in that moment. So, all the fear that you have about the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen to you, not knowing if you're going to have a job, you're going to have money, maybe it's your home, just all those fears that are coming up about the unknown and everything else that brings up, would you be willing to let all of that go now? And just take a nice deep breath. And then anywhere your body is shut down, anywhere it constricts when there's stressful situations, and anywhere that you have your body constricted now, whether you're conscious of it or not, anywhere that it just starts to, you automatically go into that compression and that shutting down of the energy and everything else that brings up. Would you be willing to let all of that go now? Here we go. And everywhere that you're holding on to everybody else's stress and fear and resistance and everything else that comes up. This could be family members, this could be people you don't know in your neighborhood, this could be people on the other side of the planet that you're tapped into. So everywhere you have all of that energy, that fear, that resistance, all of that stuff from the cosmic soup hanging out, would you be willing to let all of that go now? There we go. Everywhere you're trying to control, fix, solve, heal something, whether it's conscious or unconscious. Usually, as sensitives, we're doing that unconsciously all the time. So, everywhere you're doing that, conscious or unconscious, in this lifetime or any other lifetime, time, space, dimensionality, would you be willing to let all that go now? Take a deep breath. There we go. So, we're not here to solve, fix, or heal anything. We're here to be the light, to anchor the light, and to be the example. And we allow people to be where they're at. We're not here to take away their experiences. We're not here to even take away their suffering because people learn from that. We've learned from that. It pushes us to grow, to shift, to change. So, anywhere that you are, again, just unconsciously in that mode of trying to solve, fix, or heal a situation, people around you, loved ones, the world, and everything else that brings up in this time, any other time, space, dimensionality, would you be willing to let all that go now? Take a deep breath. And there's no effort. You just allow that stuff to just release from you. It's not like you're trying to release it. You allow it to let go of you. So, also, anywhere that you're in intense uh, struggle, effort, anywhere you're trying to make things happen, and again, anywhere you're trying to control, and anything else that brings up, would you be willing to let all that go now? Take a deep breath. And would you be willing to allow energy to come in, allow things to come to you, allow solutions coming in, new ideas, new friendships, new jobs, whatever it is, more money? Would you be willing to allow that to come into you now? And take a nice deep breath. And one of the things I'm feeling with the group right now, and probably people that are going to be watching this later in the future, is there's a lot of heaviness in the heart chakra right now. So lots of grief, loss, there's depression, sadness. So anywhere that you're holding on to any of those energies, conscious or unconscious, from this life or any other lifetime, time, space, dimensionality, would you be willing to let all of that go now? And just give yourself another deep breath. A lot of energy coming out around the heart. There we go. And then just go ahead and close your eyes. And just imagine that you're walking on a pathway. And way, way up in front of you, the pathway is kind of foggy, so you can't see too far out. But you can still see far enough that you can see the path and you can see a little bit on the sides. And on the path, there's these beautiful golden rays coming down that are lighting up that path. And also notice on the sides of the path as you're walking down this path, notice that there are beings on the side. Notice there's guides, there's masters, angelic beings, and they are guiding you. And they're not on the path with you, they're walking next to you as you're walking down your path. And I want you to just notice if you can feel all of these beautiful beings that are all this beautiful presence that is there walking side by side. And just knowing that you are never alone. And then also notice the higher part of you that's way, way, way up in the sky that can see way far ahead of you. And that higher part of you, the higher self that we call, that's what you want to start to listen to. And notice how the quiet voice gives you the directions and says, hey, maybe just take a right turn in about a mile down the road. Or maybe it's like, take a right turn like the next step, right? So just notice that there are all these beings that are with you 24/7. They never leave your side. They're always walking side by side with you. And just allow yourself to just be aware of these presences that are assisting you on this journey and also really assisting you right now. Feel the energy, feel into the energy, feel them communing with you, connecting with you. And with every step, just allowing yourself to release more and more of the fear of not being able to see fully down this path, not knowing how it's going to unfold. But with every step, your body releases more of the fear, more of the stress. And notice how you get more relaxed with every step forward. And notice how more energy is coming in to support you even deeper. You might notice if there's any little messages, if there's any quiet little voices speaking to you. And it may not be in words, it can be in impressions, it can be in a feeling. Maybe it's an image, maybe it's a symbol. But really feel how you are being cared for and guided every step of your journey. And let these beings around you know that you're going to start to pay more attention to them and that you're going to start to really trust that you are being guided. That you're going to start to pay attention to more of the synchronicities in life. Life and the universe are speaking to us all the time through symbols and things and through other people. So if we're not paying attention and we're not being aware, we miss it. So make this commitment to yourself and make this commitment to your team that you're going to slow down more. You're going to check in. When you get triggered, when you get fearful, when you start to shut down, you're going to stop and you're going to start to breathe deeply. Instead of shutting down, you're going to open up and say, I'm ready. I allow. I allow the universe to serve me. I don't need to go out and do it all myself anymore. I allow the universe to step in to serve me. And then you just slowly start to come to a stop. And at the end of this path, there's a beautiful temple, and you're right at the bottom of the steps. It's like a marble temple. And I want you to go ahead and you just step up those steps. You start to walk up those steps again, with every step just releasing a little bit more stress, more worry, more concern. And at the top of the steps, there's a big opening, kind of a big space, a very high ceiling. And as you start to step into that room and you step into the middle, you start to realize that the top of the ceiling is actually the sky. And it's open. And you step into the center of this beautiful temple. And this beautiful golden white, iridescent crystalline light comes down into your entire body, coming down through all the bodies and all the energy fields. And just allowing yourself to be immersed in this beautiful light. And this light is just dissolving all the stuff that's not serving you. And there's nothing you have to do, just to receive and just allow for this energy to just come through you. Just allowing it to fully saturate every molecule, um, atom, particle, every aspect of you. Really allowing this light to just come through and purify your heart. Also purifying, clearing all trauma that's ready to go. All hurts that you've been holding on to, conscious and unconscious. Really allowing the body to open up. Also, a deep penetrating and purging through the emotional body, just total absorption of this energy, this light, this purity. Just bringing you back to that pure innocence. And just giving yourself a nice deep breath. And this light just starts to finish up. And just know that you are renewed, rebirthed, allowing yourself to be totally new, allowing yourself to be all that you are, embracing all that you are. And then just gently come back into this moment, back into your room, wherever you are at. Again, just giving yourself a nice deep breath, coming back fully into the body. And when you're ready, just gently open your eyes and just taking a look around the room for a moment, noticing how your reality looks. It might look a little bit different. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. Be gentle with yourself tonight. Get lots of water. Be more loving, more nurturing. And just a couple of updates before we go. Um, right now, I'm still doing a 50% off of sessions off of readings and healings. I do not remember the code for that. I couldn't find it in time, so I will put it It will be on my Facebook and my Instagram, Sacred Sun Healing, and I'll also put it in the comment section on this video. So that will be through the end of this month and maybe into some of next month. I haven't gotten the intuitive hit on that on if I'm going to continue that. So if you want to get a session, I do those over the phone distance right now. They're really helping a lot of people, especially with all the changes that are happening so fast for them. It's really helping them to transition and move through things a lot smoother and easier. So I just want to recommend that. Also, if you really like the video, give it a thumbs up. And also, if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe so that you know when my next video is coming out. And in the comments button, if you have specific topic that you would like me to talk about, leave it there so I can take a look at those and I'll get some idea of some things that you guys would like me to dive into with you. All right. Um, oh, and let me take these off. I'm actually wearing it. I have some new bracelets on my Etsy store. So these are called Embodied Master. These have aquamarine, lepidolite, selenite, and then clear quartz, and then the rosewood. So they're actually diffuser bracelets, but they are called the Embodied Master. So I've been getting these again, the intuitive hits and direction for things to make and create for people to assist them in these times. And so that's another one. There'll also be a new bracelet coming in called Supreme Sovereignty. And I'll probably be even talking about that as a topic so you have a little bit more idea about what sovereignty is, because that is a direction that we all are moving into. Okay, so I think that's it. How's everybody doing? Melissa says that was beautiful. Thank you. I had so much that was released. Lots of tears, laughter came out. Excellent. Received great love and healing. Thank you, dear one, for being on. Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah. Well, thank you, you guys, because you show up and then they just guide me to what you need. So I didn't know what I was going to be doing today exactly. So by you guys are helping to create this, and so when you show up, they're like, okay, this is what they need. All right. Julian says, I felt so much responsibility that was lifted off my shoulders. Yes. Yay. Goodbye, responsibility. Guess what? You're just responsible for you. Nobody else. You're only responsible for your kids' safety till they're 12. Truly. So I'll just throw that in there. Okay. All right, you guys. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Definitely again, share this with other people if you think they'll benefit from it, and I will just keep doing them as I'm guided. So, thank you for showing up and being the lights that you are. And yeah, many blessings. Namaste. Love you lots. All right. Bye, guys.